All right. All right. We're here today with. Okay. Yeah, you are a little tall.
And what I want you to do first is let him, for the academy, say his full name, his spelling, the correct spelling.
All right, could you give us your full name and spell it for us?
Okay, Terrence Trammell, Terrence, Trammell.
And you were in the what Olympics?
I was in 2000 Sydney Olympics, 2004 in Athens, Greece, and 2008 in Beijing, China.
And you hold how many medals?
Two-time Olympic silver in 2000 and 2004 in the 110-meter hurdles.
Okay, all right. So we wanted to make sure and get that. So being in the hurdles, all right. Let's talk about the hurdles first, because I just got through interviewing Mr. Young,
right.
And then we're talking about Edwin Moses is here.
Right.
You must be in awe to these guys that you're standing on their shoulders and you're carrying the torch to the next level. How does that feel to actually be in the same company as them?
I mean, it's an awesome feeling because coming up, I actually studied the history of track and field. So I just thought about how awesome it was to be in the company of all those greats. And we ran in totally different events, but just to know their drive, their determination, and the social aspects of what a lot of them went through during their time as Olympians, it says a whole lot about character and just the will to pursue excellence.
Now, obviously, you're from?
I'm from here. I'm from Atlanta, Decatur, Georgia.
Okay, so obviously when they had the Olympics here in Atlanta, how did that motivate you? You were living there, right?
Yeah, I was actually going into my senior year in high school.
Okay, all right.
That was the determining factor for me pursuing track as a career. I played football and ran track in high school, and I was fortunate enough to have scholarship offers in both. And I got a chance to see Carl Lewis win his last Olympic gold medal. I saw Michael Johnson win the 400 meters.
Skyline High School, Dallas, Texas.
And I saw Alan Johnson, who became my mentor and like my big brother. He won the 110 high hurdles. And so I looked at my brother at that time and I said, in 4 years, like, this is where I want to be. And I went to the University of South Carolina, where I actually trained with Curtis Fry and Alan Johnson, and it was a blessing because it gave me the opportunity to train with the best hurdler in the world.
Now tell me, I know you won gold medals, but later in life you can live off of that. But I think that bachelor's degree that you earned in South Carolina has taken you a little further. Am I correct?
No, that's correct. I got my bachelor's in retail management, and I actually started doing like a small apparel line where I'm working with youth organizations for football, baseball, track, basketball, that sort of thing. And I also started my nonprofit last year. So we're doing a lot of different things with camps and clinics and a lot of things with the youth health and wellness.
Now your apparel, I know some people talk about starting apparel lines. Your apparel was featured in Guinea, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, my training partner who was here, she attended Georgia Tech, and I was training at Georgia Tech. And I was looking for a chance to utilize my skills to outfit someone, and their country was really small. I think they had like 3 or 4 athletes, and I was like, this is a perfect time for me to kind of get my stuff going. And so I was able to talk it over with their national governing body, and we were able to hook something up. And so in 2008, my apparel was featured on the Republic of Guinea, and so it's a very proud moment for me.
Yes. So he outfitted the whole country. So what's going on now and for the future for you, as far as the apparel and everything?
So right now, like I said, I've started my
nonprofit.
My nonprofit is called Trammell Athletics, and what we do is we focus on health and wellness for youth. We specialize in a lot of speed development for different athletes. We've done camps, clinics. We do a fun run on Father's Day Saturday. It's called the Ugly Tie 5K. It's a celebration of dad and fatherhood, and the proceeds went to the Prostate Cancer Foundation. So, we're doing a lot of big things like that and just looking to grow it.
Now, you say health and wellness, and that's one of the key things. My wife, Deborah Walker, who's the director, she's the director. I'm going to bring her in.
This will be a cut.
Yeah,
No,
come around this way.
I'll edit out in post-production. I'm going to do a cut. Let me tell you why. I want you to really push that foundation.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to really focus in on that. So this will be a cut.
And the possibility that we can work on.
Right, this will be a cut. I'm a registered nurse. Actually, I'm a stem cell transplant nurse for the state of Texas.
Okay.
So tell me when,
Make it this part right there.
Oh, wow. And I'm a behind the scenes gal, but on this part,
All right.
yeah.
Action. Come in a little bit there.
Okay, so for those of you who know me, know that I am impassioned about healthcare and being a registered nurse, stem cell transplant nurse. I get really focused in on people who are doing things in the cancer community. So I have this young man here, this 3-time gold medalist Olympian right here, and I feel so honored just to talk to you. And I was interviewing and just listening to you, and you talked about a nonprofit that you've started that is actually going to assist people who have struggled with cancer. So I want to really hone in on that, and I want to first ask you, what is the name of it?
So the name of my nonprofit is Trammell Athletics. And so what we do, we focus primarily on health and wellness for kids, mentorship, and we do a lot of athletic development for kids. But the one thing that we do, one of my initiatives was a Father's Day 5K race. We hold that in North Augusta, South Carolina. It's called the Ugly Tie 5K. It's just kind of a play on Father's Day.
Yeah.
And
It's like the ugly sweater,
right,
ugly socks. Yeah.
Exactly. So we get a chance. We get a chance to celebrate dads, celebrate fatherhood, and get guys to be more active in getting screened, getting checked out. Men really don't like going to the doctor.
Right. And I'll add, especially black men.
Right. So we had a chance to put something together. This was our second year doing it, and we were able to raise money for the Prostate Cancer Foundation. And I lost my dad 8 years ago, actually to colon cancer, and it metastasized in his lungs. And we had several people in my family that transitioned because of it. And so I'm passionate about fighting it, getting rid of it, letting people know that there are ways to live healthy lives and not to be worried about cancer and that sort of thing.
And I totally get that with your father's loss. My mom, actually a lot of people that know me know she died of leukemia. And it was before they were doing stem cell transplants on people. She was 49, so I totally understand that. And let me say why I added the interjection there about black men and prostate cancer. So essentially for African American men, for those of you out there who prefer that term, there is a higher incidence of prostate cancer in black men, and it's one of the ones that can be early detected, getting testing so that we can get treatment. And what this young man is doing, this 3-time Olympian is doing, Mr. Trammell, is making sure to come out with something fun, an ugly tie, and at the same time get some testing. If we can get some testing, get early detection, we can get treatment, we can save lives. And you shared with us about your father and the colon cancer. So I want to also add to that, definitely make sure if you're over 50, get your colonoscopies. Over 50, your doctor should tell you about that colonoscopy. Once you get your colonoscopies, your physician will tell you when you need to get a recheck. Usually it's 1 to 3 years, sometimes 5, sometimes 10. I didn't quite have my husband turn 50 before he got his, but I made him go and get one with me. And we had the couple colonoscopies. He actually backed out of his one day, but he got his the second day of that. So I want to talk to you a little bit more about your foundation. I know the passion of why you started it. And in doing that with the holistic and wellness things that you're doing, the initiatives, what are you telling the young people about their health care?
So the biggest thing about it is making sure you're eating the right foods, doing the right things, and staying active. I noticed that, for example, a lot of people when they retire, they stop moving, and that's when sickness and other things really start to plague them because there's no circulation, going throughout the body. So we always broke it down. When I was competing, I had a nutritionist, and he said you want to be 50% vegetables, I think 25% starch, and 25% meat.
Okay, can you say that again?
Yeah, it was 50.
For the camera, look right dead in that camera.
50% vegetables, 25% starch, and 25% meat. And that keeps you strong, that keeps you going, keeps you active and lively, and that sort of thing. And you're not overindulging in anything. So
your plate, when you have your plate, it should be colorful, first of all. You want colorful fruits and vegetables, the starch, and that meat, 25%. Now, most people want to have a meat that's about 80% of the plate and then put a little salad on the side. But what this young man just said, I endorse. And I had another friend of mine that said a meat should be the size of your palm. So if you hold your palm up and you look at that and you have a plate, that palm is 25% of that plate. So if you can't figure out what your 25% cut of your meat is, it should be the size of your palm. And I want to talk a little bit about meatless. So we know that a cow doesn't eat another cow to become a cow.
Right.
So when we get that big steak, we wonder, how did that cow get such highly evolved protein? So do you have any comments about non-meatless foods?
I know that you can get a lot of protein from nuts, also different berries and grains have it as well. The big thing is also drinking a lot of water and making sure your electrolytes are up, because they have the minerals that the body needs. That's basically like the building block of your body. They feed the cells. And just green vegetables just to keep your digestive system going. And also with, I guess, like the micronutrients, like, you get into like the omega oils and things like that. All of those things play a major role in health and living and not just surviving and hanging on.
This man knows his stuff. I like that. I'm endorsing everything he's saying. So I want to just ask one more question. I'm going to hone in on kidney disease, because right now kidney disease is very prevalent in certain communities, underserved communities. I see a lot of dialysis centers popping up. My husband actually received a kidney transplant a year ago, July 4th. It was a miracle. We did home hemodialysis at home for 10 years. He had something called IgA nephropathy, which is a whole different ball game. It had nothing to do with diabetes or hypertension. It was just an autoimmune disease that he had, where the body essentially attacked his own kidneys. But let's talk about just general population of kidney disease, those who perhaps may have had diabetes, hypertension. Sometimes it's medication related, sometimes drug use even. But I'm going to ask you a few questions about what you did to protect your kidneys, because you mentioned water.
Your water is always good, and different spices and herbs and things like that. I know I'm really into things like turmeric and lemon in water with honey and that sort of thing. So I try to use, like, if I were to drink anything like coffee, I would put honey in it. I really try to stay away from processed sugars.
Okay. In other words, we're not doing the blue, the yellow, the pink. We're gonna just go with either honey, and if you have to do sugar, 2 teaspoons of just pure refined sugar. And I've told people that know me, if you have to do an artificial sweetener, just do stevia, which is, Truvia, it's the green. But I'm 100% into just honey.
Yes. So.
And the turmeric.
Right. So it's a lot of different things, and I still.
What about garlic?
Garlic is really good. Also, oregano.
Okay. Now remember, he's an Olympian, so listen. 3 times.
And oregano, I do oregano oil with at least 70% of I forget how they call it, Carvaccio oil. I think that's what.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Where did you get all of this knowledge? Oh, sublingual.
So it burns for a while. The burn's going down. You cough a little bit, but
a lot of people don't realize. So under the tongue is sublingual. There are blood vessels there, and that's a very quick way of getting a source of nutrients. I actually do vitamin B12 drops under the tongue, especially when I don't eat a lot of meat, because that gives me my B12. But the oregano oil, and I'm going to hone in on that a little bit. Where did you get that information? Because I actually endorse that as well.
I'm trying to remember exactly where, because I look at a lot of holistic type of treatments, methods, and that sort of thing. And I think probably when my dad was dealing with his bout with cancer, I did a lot of different research and things like that. I currently take B17 in the middle of the day. And I try to stay on my vitamins. I had gotten off for a while, and you can really tell a difference when you're taking your vitamins as to when you're not taking the vitamins. But I just different little research, and you can YouTube a lot of different things. The knowledge is out there. It's more readily available now than it's ever been, and so. I just try to take advantage of it, in that aspect. So,
a very famous rapper once said, and I just love the fact that he said this. He said, "We have to change the way we eat." Do you remember who that was?
Change the way we eat.
We've got to change the way we eat. Pac. I'm a little older than you. But yeah, I love that he said that. And the thing is, when you're an athlete, you mentioned feeding your body on the cellular level. And I know it's so quick, some people want to just go and grab something, but we're grabbing the wrong thing. So when I meet an athlete that's actually willing to share some of the things that he does to keep his body in top performance, we have to listen. And these are things that are complementary to medicine. And I'm real big on the preventative, the alternative. Those are complementaries. It's acceptable, complementary alternative medicine, very much acceptable. And I just want to thank you so much on a Saturday morning for sharing with us how to eat better. 3-time Olympian. We want to thank him for his time. And anything else you want to add going out?
I just want to thank you for allowing me to be here. You can follow me on Instagram at Trammell Athletics.
Spell it.
TrammellAthletics.
Okay, we got you. We're out. Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
That turn.